Right, James, I want to talk to you about your cars that you've had
Yeah.
and how they compare to the Allegro,
Okay.
right? Because to me, getting in that Allegro was like, sitting in it was like a little toy car.
You've been
Anyway.
in an Allegro before, though.
Yeah, I raced an Allegro, but I mean, it's not different to the one you had.
I haven't owned many cars. My first car was a Fiesta Mark II with 17,000 miles on the clock.
How much did you pay for that?
£240.
That is cheap.
Yeah.
So,
I had a mint cabin. I got it on eBay.
really?
Yeah.
God, you were lucky
Cost
there.
me £10 to get it because I got a National Express up to Glasgow.
Oh wow, had to pay £10 to get it.
Had a full service history. It was immaculate inside.
God, you were
A
lucky.
bit rusty on the outside, but it was okay.
Okay, so tell me how that compared to...
Took it all around Europe.
Did you?
Yeah. Never let me down. Brilliant car.
How much did you sell it for?
About the same.
Really?
Yeah, I had to go to China.
What, to sell it? Oh, right, no.
No. I was on my way.
Oh, right, okay,
on
yeah,
a
okay,
fast
so
plane
you had to
China.
sell it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, that was... Well, you were lucky there. Really lucky.
Well, you do get these bargains on eBay. People don't believe that such bargains can be, so they tend to
No, I don't. I wouldn't get a car off
give them a
eBay.
wide berth. But you only have to look at the fundamentals: mileage, service history, feedback of the eBay seller, and if possible, one female owner. That's it, really.
Okay.
Sets
So,
you up nicely.
okay, so what was your next car?
Well, that was a bit of a lemon. I had another Fiesta Mark II, but that was not a good buy.
Where'd you get that from?
Oh, some wide boy that,
eBay?
I had a bad feeling about from the start. Yeah, I didn't follow my own rules. I didn't
What
follow
are your rules?
low mileage, full service history.
Yeah.
It did have a low mileage. Okay. Actually, it did tick all the boxes. Did it have full service history? I don't... Well, there were three things really. I had a bad feeling about the guy that sold it to me. He's very cocky. Second thing, the seats absolutely stank of cigarettes. There's no way you could get the smell out. It was really deeply ingrained. The third thing was that the car would just break down. Nobody could find what was wrong with it. A mechanic could look at it, have the bonnet up, and not be able to see anything wrong.
God.
So this happened to me on the roundabout, on a motorway roundabout.
Hang on, why didn't you, when you stunk that fag smoke and you had that bad feeling, why didn't you go, sorry mate, I've changed my mind?
Because I'd bought it as an eBay car.
Shit, you paid for it.
Yeah, I was committed. But,
Did he put in the advert, stinks of fags?
no.
Well, I would have said to him, you've lied in the advert.
See, when I sold that car, I was completely honest. I said it stank of fags, and I said that it kept breaking down for no apparent reason, and I still managed to sell it for around about what I paid for it.
You are so jammy. So did it break down on you often?
Only 2 or 3 times, but it scared the hell out of me. One time was on a roundabout on a motorway. I had cars tooting me.
I'd have got out of the car and just left it and run. I wouldn't have. I'd have been so embarrassed.
That was scary. So the third car...
What were they tooting you for if you can't move? You're broken down. What are you meant to do?
Because obviously I decided to break down, didn't I?
Okay, so how did that car compare to...
Well, you should ask about it. Last time we went through my test car, you remember the Nissan Micra, and you got all excited about that?
Yes. Well, we haven't got to that yet.
Oh, okay. What's your question?
How did that one compare?
Well, that was a 1.4S, and I never really put it through its paces because of this breakdown
issue.
So I never even
You can't really compare it then, can
opened
you?
it up. No.
Yeah.
The Fiat Mark II, the very first one. Okay, so that was a 1.1 engine. I had it up to 95 miles an hour downhill going towards Brno in the Czech Republic. About 40 miles a gallon.
Is that what you passed your testing?
No.
Oh, okay. I just wondered.
I passed my test in a Skoda in Prague. Not the old Skodas.
There ain't a good Skoda, darling.
Yes, there is.
No, there ain't.
There is.
No, there isn't.
Hello. It's now owned by VW.
I don't care. It's still a car. It's the
No,
most
it's not.
uncomfortable car I've ever been in.
No.
Okay, so I think when you've had a bad experience with one car, it sort of puts you off the whole.
No,
I'm a bit like
the
that.
Skoda of today is not the
I'm a bit
Skoda
like
of the
that.
80s.
Okay, I'll take your word, but I'll never buy one.
It's like having a VW.
Okay, well, keep your VWs then.
Yeah.
So, all right then. So, what was your next car? Tell me about your Nissan.
First of all, before I ever owned a car, I did my first driving lessons in a Nissan Micra Mark 1.
I love
So
those
that
little
was-
bubble cars.
That was my first experience.
I do love a Nissan.
That Mark 2 was the bubble one, I think.
Did you know that they've got the best? They had rather. Well, they still have. They've got the I can't remember what it's called now, but they've got the best gearbox for automatic. They've got the best automatic gearbox they have.
Okay, so I've driven many cars. I've driven Micras, Ford Focus, Ford Fiestas, Toyota Yaris's, Nissan Sunny, the Honda Civic, Ford Granada. I've driven many different cars, and I will not pretend that the Allegro had the precision that you feel with a modern car. That sense of control that you feel with a modern car. But that aside, I thought it was pretty good.
That's good.
Actually, a good powerful engine. I mean, not like fast, but plenty of torque. You feel like you got everything you need. It's a willing engine. The gear change was really smooth. Really.
No, you couldn't change the bloody gear.
No, it's good.
Not in that car, you couldn't.
Oh, just because I couldn't reverse it.
James, you
What?
couldn't change the gear then, could you?
I had a bit of trouble with reverse because it's the technique. It's nothing to do with the gearbox.
I know, you got to pop it.
Yeah.
So you said that you took your driving test in, where was it?
Prague.
And you took it in a what?
Skoda Fabia.
Actually, why did you end up taking your test in Prague? What happened?
Well, I'd failed it 6 times in this country. What? It was always on. Do you know the funny thing is? So I took my first test when I was about 17, and then I failed it, and that was dispiriting. So I gave up for a few years, and I came back to it, and I kept failing. But I never failed on the same thing.
What did you fail on?
It was always small things. And the very last time I got really despondent because I'd basically passed it and she told me that I'd passed it, and I was just driving her back to the pickup point and she initiated conversation with me about something, and
You made an accident.
no, I just made a small error while she was doing that, and she had basically put her notes away. I'd gone through all the things, all the things they make you do.
So she actually said you passed?
She said you would have passed.
Oh, so she didn't say, because they're not allowed to do that, say you passed and then unpass you.
No, she said you would have passed. So she'd done all the checks. You know, they have a
Tick board, yeah.
tick board. They have to go through all these boxes. I'd passed all of those, and to be honest, it was always the same. Like when I did it when I was 17, the very first test I did, I was in this. It was in London. I did my test in London, really built up area, and I was in a suburban street.
James, stop. That's not my fault, right? I thought when you gave me it, we were recording. So I just had to do that. Go on. Oh,
I'm just making excuses. I would always fail on small things.
Yeah, go on.
You know, your tongue.
It's brown, isn't it?
I'd always smell it. So the very first time.
Actually, that's tea.
You get the thing about Prague
Yeah.
is they were testing to see whether you could safely drive a car. In this country, it's made up of little busybodies that are looking to fail you.
I know.
And sometimes on the most ridiculous
Things.
And when I was 17, it was a ridiculous thing.
Because they don't want you to pass
I was
at that
going
age.
down a suburban road, and this lorry came in the other direction, and the lorry stopped And
you carried on going.
No, I stopped. I was being cautious. I stopped and waited to see what he was going to do. And the
Oh no, you should have carried
examiner
on.
said to me, "You should have asked him what he was going to do." And I thought, what?
What was you meant to
What
do?
am I supposed to do? Wind down the window and say, "Oi, mate, you coming through?" You know, it was the most pathetic thing.
Did you say that to her?
Him. No.
I would have done. I would have said, what did you want me to do? Get out of the car. Go up to him and go, hello, excuse me, sir. Where are you going? What are you doing? And then go back to the car and go, it's okay. He's just waiting to deliver something. We'll just sit
I think
here
what it is
and pick our bums.
is in test situations, there's something about me which will make the examiner think that I am a liability.
Hey, wrong there.
But when I actually drive,
So what happened?
am I a bad driver?
You're a good driver, I have to say. You're much better now. You've known me for a while and you've been driving the Welsh roads than when I first met you. Don't you remember? You swung your car around showing off. We'll go into that in a minute, right? But the first thing I want to say to you is, I want to talk about your test. How comes you took it in Prague? I mean, what is that about? Is it easier? Did you pay for
Well,
it?
yeah, you don't have to do parallel parking or reverse parking, stuff like that. I think you might have to do reverse. You don't do parallel. It's a little bit easier in Prague.
So you passed it.
They're just not as
Did you
fussy.
hear that and that's why you went there? Or
Well, it was cheaper and it's easier to pass your
how
test.
did you find out about it?
I was living in Prague at the time.
Right, okay, got you. So now moving on to this car that you've got. I want to talk about this car because it's funny. This car is called a...
Right, my daily driver is a Fiat Punto Mark 1 55 SX. It has electric windows, metallic brown paint, sort of metallic-y
How old is it?
beigey brown. What's the colour?
Well, it's
Grey.
a sort of grey, greeny type.
Grey, browny, beigey.
I don't know what it is. It's colour, anyway.
It's got a colour, yeah.
So what is... tell me how much you paid for that.
600.
How old is it?
Right, when I got it, it was 20... I've had it 25, it's coming up 25, 26. It was coming up, it was 23 years old or thereabouts, with less than 23,000 miles on the clock, and the interior was absolutely...
And what was so funny is when I met you,
Yeah.
met you, and you turned up in your car, we went for a little spin in mine, and I'm a bit of a fast driver. I throw my car about a bit, right? And you when we got into your car, you said, "Oh, this car's never let me down. It's never let me down. Never, never." And it was so funny because you were trying to show off, right, and impress me. So you threw your car about a little bit, spun it round the corner, didn't you? And then what happened?
I think we just carried on.
We carried on.
Didn't we?
Not far though. We got into the town.
Stop off for a drink somewhere.
And the cat, no. As we got into the town, you were pushing on the accelerator and you goes, oh, there's something wrong with my car, it's not going. And it just went, and it died. But you managed to get it in a car space. So we had to phone was it the RAC?
It's such a well-behaved car that even when it breaks down, it gives
Yeah,
you,
it did find a car space, didn't it?
gives you enough.
And the cam belt had gone
The cam belt, yeah.
because it just couldn't take you throwing it about. It was so funny. Of course, I'm feeling really bad sitting in the car because I'm thinking...
Wonderful thing about those Fiats is when the cam belt goes,
It doesn't smash the engine.
it doesn't spoil the engine.
Which most...
So this
He nearly
mechanic
ripped
came
you off,
out.
didn't he?
Yeah, I nearly
You walked away.
took a few quid for scrap.
You were taking the stuff out of the car.
Yeah.
And then you went, hang on. Someone told me that the cam belt in this doesn't affect the engine. And he went, well, I've not heard of that. So much of him being a mechanic, I bet he had. He was trying to rip you right off.
Yeah.
So in the end, he ended up taking the car, didn't he? It was quite funny with this car that...
So he took it to his
farm.
He
Which
has
was a garage.
He has a garage on
There.
farmland, and they did repair the cam belt, and he was really impressed by the car. He said to me, "Oh, it's really on the mark. That's genuine mileage." And then I drove the car away and it was leaking petrol everywhere.
Well, we could smell petrol.
Well, it wasn't until later on, actually.
You kept saying, it's cost me £60 to get here. And I said, well, it can't cost you £20 one week, because I was paying halves. Do you remember? I was giving you half the petrol. I said, there's no way it's costing that. And then you drove off one day, and I noticed loads of petrol on the floor. Someone said to me, your boyfriend's car's got a leak. Look at that. I went, oh, shit.
We discovered that the
rat.
fuel line had been gnawed through. There were teeth marks on it, and it could only have been
in that.
Rats on that farm.
Yeah. Because it's never happened since. It's been fixed.
No.
Never happened since. So
Yeah.
it was on that farm. But it was quite interesting. They must have been hungry rats. They needed some fuel. But
We should
anyway,
go back to the Allegro.
that is a good car, right, out there that you've got. That Punto. It's still going.
Oh yeah, I've done 15,000 miles.
And I'm sure when you sell it, you'll get
The money back.
that money back. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's
Yeah.
brilliant.
If you buy a car at a certain age, I think you're talking of roughly 20 years old, and you get a very low mileage example.
Is it still low mileage?
Yeah, that's still low. It's still
Okay.
low. It's 38. But if you get a very low mileage example, like
Yeah.
20,000 miles, basically you're getting a car for less money than it should
Yeah.
really be sold for. But people, for some reason, they don't go for them.
Now, how does that one compare to your Allegro?
What, the Punto?
Yeah, because I did notice in that Allegro there's quite a bit of space. I thought there was.
Yeah.
Not as much legroom maybe as the Punto.
It's a Mark 1, so it has not very good legroom in the back. They sorted that out for Mark 2, but plenty in the front. And yeah, it's such a different experience, and you can't really compare it because there's no carpet in the Allegro. So
Well, there's no floor in the Allegro.
no, it's
It's just holes.
so you really.
Can I tell you what those
Yeah.
holes are for?
What?
Right, before you put carpet down,
Yeah.
there would have been a rubber down,
Yeah.
and there would have been something to hold that rubber down. And those holes, they would have put something on top to keep the rubber down, then they would have put the carpet on top. That is what those holes are. So they're not actually rust holes or anything. Or the other,
No,
you can
no,
see
no.
a lot of them.
They're machined.
Yeah, they're machined big for that reason. So that's why, because that is in most Allegros, right? Instead of just gluing it, perhaps we didn't have super glue back then, I don't know. It was put in and it would have been sealed.
Yeah.
So that's what those holes are.
Yeah.
That's why they're in certain places to plug up. But you wouldn't have those things to fit in those holes. So you're going to have to get those or have them specially
You're
made.
so silly, you know, that when I bought this car, I offered you to put you on my insurance, and you said no.
Well, I belong to the Allegro.
You're an associate member, but you can't drive my car on public roads.
I will. I'll
It's
get on the
not
insurance.
insured.
I'll get an insurance. Don't worry. It's not on the public road right now, is it? It's stuffed in a
Can
fucking
you
car
get
park.
your own insurance
Yeah.
as a non-owner of the car?
No,
How does it work?
it's illegal to do that. Really illegal.
So,
Has to go through you.
so I
You
don't
have to add me.
I don't want to do that because I hate my insurance company. They piss me off. They charge me
Yeah.
25 quid.
Yeah.
I'm done with them. You know.
Oh, we'll have to sort something out. Don't worry. I think I can do like a daily thing if I was having lessons in the car. I think you can do it. I think there is a way of doing it. There's a few loopholes we can look at. Anyway, don't worry about it. So right now though, it's not drivable.
You can drive around Tesco car park, can't you?
Yeah, I could throw it around there.
Hey, we go there at night.
And the police arrest us because we're on coronavirus shutdown.
No. When all this is blown over, you don't need to be insured to drive around Tesco car park, do you?
No,
It's private,
that's right.
and it'll be empty at night time.
Yes. Yes.
How about then?
Yes. Yeah.
What about the Elan Valley? Is that private?
No.
Okay.
No, lots of people misinterpret that. You know, a lot of people think it is, but it's not. So, coronavirus.
Yeah.
Stop touching your nose. You've got to get out of that habit.
All right.
You're going to give yourself.
Okay.
It goes up your nose and travels to your throat. My tongue is brown from tea, by the way. Do you know how many cups of tea I've had today? Because I haven't eaten.
You said so many funny things last time.
You are a good driver. You are, and all right, it's not been as good as last time, but I've tried my best,
You said it would be
James.
better.
Yeah, okay, but I tried. You know I've been up all night, don't you?
There's no... God knows how I edit that to make it funny.
You're not going to make it funny.
It's the whole idea.
It is funny, some of it, James.